Shabbat Shalom, a sweet and wonderful Sabbath. As we welcome the Sabbath together, I invite those of you who have a Siddur at home to open to page 125. For those who are joining us without a prayer book at home, please reach for the PDF below the live stream link, and you will be able to follow throughout the service. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat abide. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time, contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat abide. Page 142. Lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala penei penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala penei penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad Ishmi'anu el hamyuchad Adonai echad Ushmo echad L'shem ultiferet V'litchila lecha lecha dodi Likrat likrat kala Penei penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala Penei penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha Ki hi mekor habracha Merosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh b'machsheva Techila lecha lecha dodi Likrat likrat kala Penei penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi Likrat likrat kala Penei penei Shabbat nekabela. Paragraph 5. Hitoreri hitoreri Hiva orech kumi uri 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 Shir daberi Kevod Adonai Alayich negila lecha lecha dodi Likrat likrat kala Penei penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala Penei penei Shabbat nekabela. Paragraph 7. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala gam b'simcha u'v'tzohala toch emunei am segula boi chala lecha lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat Kabbalat Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat Kabbalat. Welcoming the Sabbath with an open heart, we return in our Siddur to page 129. Dodi li, I am to my beloved as my beloved is to me. Dodi li v'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim Dodi li mizotola min hamidbar Mizotola min hamidbar Dodi li v'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim Dodi Mikuteret moru levona Dodi li v'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim Dodi li. Filled with prayer in our hearts, page 120, welcoming light, welcoming hope, welcoming respite. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, So may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light. So may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. On this Shabbat, the light of the Sabbath candles brings us to our own loved ones. From generations past and those with whom we have the privilege of dwelling and celebrating together. The light of the Sabbath candles brings our attention to members of the community, friends and neighbors, and especially to the essential workers who we are honoring throughout this pandemic of COVID, those frontline workers who have put themselves in harm's way to protect us, to meet our needs, these nurses, Maria Della Parte, Christina Dubois, Teresa Eggers, Teresa Esposita, Lindsay Miller, Jay Mountier, Cindy Pomeranz, Joni Savego, Lucinda Siegel, Christina Snell, Amy Staley, Ashley Wallace, Ben Wilder, and Elisa Williams. These doctors, Linda Brandon, Amy Cagulo, Joe Cohn, Shani David, Elliot Dresnick, Lee Gerson Friedman, Nick Friedman, Stephen Grossman, Ilan Haley, Jan Hoyt, Roger Husted, Steve Kaplan, Martin Krakauer, Howard Leifer, Liz Levine, Aaron Daniel Levitt, L. Levitt, Noah Alexander Levitt, Richard Levy, Matt Lordy, Hannah Mittenberg, Wendy Parrish, Stephen Schwartz, Jody Sumber, Andrew Yanowski. These healthcare professionals, Yisrael Aga, Dara Clausen, Bar Levi Romer, Katie Monsky, Joe Schwendeman, Amy Skorka, Maureen Terranova, Jaron Whittam, Brian Coletti, Mark Donchek, Steve Fleischer, Don Hughes, Karen Leader, Abe Markovitz, Anthony Schleuderer, Russell Seymour, Kahana Skalnick. These educational professionals, Sandy Albelli, Cindy Binney, Cara Levine Brenner, Carolyn Cernitsky, Lauren DePola, Molly Levine Hunt, Jim Hunt, Tammy Logan, Joanne Miller, Tracy Pollack, Cameron Rabb, Lauren Rose, Eric Swan, Sue Worthman, Karen Drake, Brett Zuckerman. These social workers and mental health professionals, Andrew Binney, Charlie DeGeorge, Anastasia Duval-Yonetti, Janalee Fish, Dara Heinlein, Deb Jones, Stephen Kahn, Lauren Petties, Julie Stein-Mikowski, Ty Markle, Sherry Tessler. These grocery staff, mechanics, technicians, electricians, and transportation professionals, Jill Smith, Mike Becker, Matt Wilder, Michael Brewer, Brian Lestrange, Danny Miller. Holding a place of hope and care, gratitude, and well-being for all those named and all those who are protecting, serving, and responding. (142) Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Tzeitchem l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei Elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. 144. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah Bi'alma divrach irutei V'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael Bagala, bagala, uvisman kariv, v'immeru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach, le'olam ul'almei olmaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpar, v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yit'aleh, v'yithalal, shmei d'kudesha berichu. Le'ela min kol berchata, v'shirata, tushpechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'immeru amen. 145. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence. We change directions, moving toward one another in the hopes of making connection with our people everywhere, and in doing so, making connection with the divine. 146. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach לעולם ועד. המבורך, המבורך, לעולם ועד. 148. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim ma'ariv aravim bechokma poteach she'arim ובתבונה משנה עתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם. ברקיע כרצונו, יא לה 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 לה, יא לה 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 לה. La 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. 150. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, source of the universe, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night, we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvchol nafshecha uvchol me'odecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'ham b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'aderech uvshochbecha ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Julius Lester teaches, Judaism is a doing which can be grasped only by the heart. Adonai Elohechem Emet. 159, Emet. Sing the song of people joined in understanding and respect. The song of the source's miracles and earth, protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravaged by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. 158. Yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai. Yai lai 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 la 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 la la lai. Lai la lai lai la 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 lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osefele, Nora tehilot osefele. Malchutecha rabu banecha, bokei ayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze Elianu ve'amru, Ze Elianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam ba'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam ba'ed. Yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai. Yai lai 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 la 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 la la lai. Lai la lai lai la 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 lai. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו ביד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני Ga'al Yisrael. Welcoming the Zemer as they bring to us the Hashkivenu, page 161 and 160. Every word of one's prayer should be like a rose that is picked from a bush. One gathers rose upon rose until a bouquet is formed and can be offered to the source as a beautiful blessing. Page 164. Adonai, sifatai tiftach ufiyagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Ya la 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 la, la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, 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 la 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 la. Praying Tfilat Amidah Balachash. The traditional tefillah continues through page 180. Give voice to the prayers that you offer, that you need. on this Sabbath Eve. Shalom. 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 Let me have peace. Let me be healed. Let me be whole. Shalom. 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 I am at peace. I'm one with the world. I have hope. Shalom. 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 יהיו לרצון Imre, Imre fi Vehegion lipi Lefanecha Adonai tzuri Vegoali Adonai tzuri Vegoali. 653. O source, my one, I pray that these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart, the sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart. Eli, Eli, shelo yigamer le'olam, achol ve'hayam, rish rush shel hamayim, ve'rak hashamayim, tfilat ha'adam, achol ve'hayam, rish rush shel hamayim, ve'rak hashamayim, tfilat ha'adam. We turn together to count the Omer, page 570. Hineni muchanu mizuman, hineni muchanahu mizumenet, hineni muchanu mizuman, likayem mitzvat aseh. Hineni muchanu mizuman, hineni muchanahu mizumenet, hineni muchanu mizuman, shel svirat ha'omer. Blessed is the mystery that flows through time and space. You who infuse us with holiness and call us into connection through the counting of the Omer. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. Today is the 34th day, which is 4 weeks and 6 days of the Omer. Hayom, Lamed Daled Yom, Shehem, Arba Shvuot, V'shisha Yamim, La Omer. So today is the 34th day of the Omer, which means that we are counting down just 16 days till Shavuot. How's your Jewish map? How are you doing with your Omer intentions, with your counting, with your Jewish rhythm of time? Actually, let me ask a different question. As we count down the Omer each of these weeks prior to Shavuot, when was the last year that you observed Shavuot? Let me ask you another question. If you asked your partner, your husband, your wife, your spouse, or any one of your children what Shavuot is, would they be able to provide a meaningful answer? Why we celebrate, how we celebrate, when we celebrate Shavuot? How is your Jewish map? How are you doing today on this 34th day of the Omer? Yesod she behod, foundation within presence. This week, Parshat Emor establishes a sacred calendar, primarily through the establishment of the three most important holidays, with the exception of Shabbat, the three pilgrimage holidays, Sukkot, Pesach, and Shavuot. We are enjoined to observe these three important holidays in order to express joy. When do we celebrate them? Why do we celebrate them? How do we celebrate them? All of these questions bring us back to my initial question. How's your Jewish map these days? Are you showing up in Jewish time? How are you doing with your observance, your responsibility, your Jewish rituals? And how are these rituals, these rhythms of Jewish time, lighting you up in your life, lighting your path along the days of your life? Emor is, at first glance, a litany of more obligations, responsibilities, and rules. But in fact, with a closer look, we realize that when we pay attention to these obligations, to these responsibilities, we reveal that they are obligations and responsibilities for living with gratitude. And in addition to bringing us raw joy and gratitude, each of these pilgrimage holidays, each of these moments of sacred time as set forth in Parshat Emor, bring us a message, a map with moral implications. The ways that the rhythms of living Jewishly wake us up and guide us not just to joy and gratitude, but to fullness of life. That's right. The key to fullness of life is right here. Is with this rhythm and map and way of life through Jewish ritual, through Jewish time. But as you know, no great event happens without preparation. A marathon, a wedding, a birth, Shabbat, Yom Kippur, or Shavuot. And so we found ourselves counting yesterday, all day, beginning Thursday night, was Lag BaOmer, the 32nd day of the Omer. Hod Shebahod, presence within presence. The goodness that is in being in the moment. And tonight, at sundown, we launch into Yesod Shebahod, foundation which is within presence. For us to figure out how it is that we can show up to experience the goodness. I sat this morning drinking my coffee, my morning ritual after morning prayer, and I marveled at the beauty of the buds on the trees, the miracle of the flowers blossoming, the mystery of the awakening of spring. And I felt at once filled with hope and weighted down with sadness and grief. Hope for the miraculous way that the world renews itself. Grief for the reality of the world that we are living in. All week long, I followed the French story of the Jewish woman in her 60s who had been savagely beaten in her own apartment and then thrown off the balcony of her apartment to her death because she was Jewish. These past 10 days, I watched in horror as first ultra-Orthodox Jews marched in the streets of Jerusalem, chanting death to Arabs, and then Palestinians rose up, threatening Jewish citizens. We have been living through the hard truths of unarmed black men, black women, black children who are targeted, lynched, and executed in the streets of America because the color of their skin. And those same police that have been targeting citizens of color are crushed and beaten and pepper sprayed and killed on the steps of the Capitol as they defend lawmakers and the capital of the United States of America from right-wing, deadly insurrectionist violence. And we all watched with horror as ultra-Orthodox Jews who had gathered for Lag BaOmer at the grave of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai on Har Meron were crushed in the early hours this morning, Thursday night, Friday morning, in a stampede. At least 45 people are dead, and hundreds other are wounded. How do we live with hope? How do we acknowledge goodness and the sacred of the world renewal and promise when there is such pain and grief in the world? I thought a lot about that this week. And I believe that the only way to go forward in hope is with two commitments. One of personal responsibility for each of these horrors sustained in our society, and specifically a commitment to responsibility for our society. I said to you that Sukkot and Pesach and Shavuot, these three most important pilgrimage holidays, are about gratitude and joy. Let's take another look at these most important sacred times. Each of them have an agricultural meaning. Each of them have a historical meaning. And each of them have an ethical compass, a moral imperative, values baked into the very essence and meaning of the holiday. And more gives us a roadmap on how to live not just with joy and gratitude, but with purpose, with meaning, a life of values. Sukkot wakes us up to gratitude with the recognition that life is temporary. Pesach calls us to affirm joy in the face of adversity. And Shavuot promises hope with the commitment to repair the world, to do better. The reality is, as spring emerges, that we are living in a world of anti-Semitism. We are living in a world of racism and xenophobia. We are living in a world where Jews are xenophobic and racist. We are living in a world of violence. And I know that we can do better. I know that we must do better. I believe that Amor provides us the opportunity to drop into our traditions fully, thoughtfully, deeply, never with complacency, never with complicity for the grief and the violence in the world, always asking the hard questions: how, what, why, and leading with the commitment of personal responsibility and responsibility for our society. We are called into obligation with the recognition that the world is broken. We are called into the obligation and the ritual and the commitment of joy and hope, together with the commitment to do better, to face the brokenness, and through hope, to find our way to a more meaningful, powerful existence, a life of healing and of hope. How are you doing as we are 16 days away from Shavuot? I urge you to wake up to the obligation and the calling, to grant yourself the privilege to walk in Jewish time and with Jewish responsibility, and to awaken to spring and hope renewed with a commitment to a better world. Tomorrow morning, our Shabbat minyan begins at 10 a.m. This Sunday, May 2nd, from 2 to 3, join our cantorial soloist Alexandra Schleuderer outside to make some music together. Masking and social distancing guidelines will be required. There is a rain date, but let's hope that we won't need that. Zemer will be meeting tomorrow on Sunday from 2 to 3, and the following Saturday, May 8th. Check your calendar and your weekly email. Next week, regular weekly classes as scheduled. Presenting a new adult education opportunity, a series of 4 classes entitled Torah Now, Reading the World into Torah and Torah into the World. What a beautiful season of Shavuot, to be readying ourselves with in-depth Torah study. Our guest teacher is board member Professor Mary Warrener, who will be presenting ancient stories that happen every day, a 4-class series in May and June on Thursday evenings from 7 to 8:30. During these 4 Zoom classes open to everyone, Mary will guide us to examine biblical narratives and contemporary sources to discuss issues that are as old as they are new. This coming Thursday, May 6th, the first class will be on pursuing balance, the golden calf, Exodus 32, the comforts and curses of consumerism. Please check your email and the website so that you can be part of this 4-part series with Mary Warrener. Next Friday, May 7th, our Tat Shabbat moves into summer schedule on the first Friday of June, July, and August, of May, June, July, and August. Next Friday, May 7th, Tat Shabbat begins at 5:30 p.m., followed by early service at 6 p.m. Coming up in May, celebrate the gift of Torah in our Tikkun Leil Shavuot. This study on May 16th, Sunday, May 16th, will be from 10:30 p.m. to midnight. Please join me and your fellow congregants, learners and seekers for our annual late night Tikkun, our festival journey into text study. We will be studying the book of Ruth, focusing on renewal and hope following these times of devastation. Shavuot sunrise service will follow on Monday, May 17th. We'll be gathering at the Kingston Point Beach at 5 a.m. Everyone is invited to bring a poem or text about Jewish revelation, and bring your own picnic breakfast to be shared on the beach. CEHV is pleased to announce that we are in the process of hiring a director for the Zimmet Religious School, which will be reopening in the fall of 2021-2022 school year. School registrations are now being accepted. Contact the main office for more information. All of these announcements, dates, Zoom links, and registration forms can be found on our website. We are here for you. We are working out the mechanisms by which we can begin to gather outdoors over the summer, and looking forward to being together in some capacity or another for the high holidays. Turning together to page 371. A prayer for healing. For those who were wounded at Har Meron, at Mount Meron, may they find a refuah shlema, a complete and full healing. For our own loved ones and friends and these members of the community who are dealing with challenges of health, body, and soul. David Anderson, Amanda Batista, Susan Bosch, Jenny Bryant, Audrey Cohn, Barbara Cohn, Robert Cohn, Adele Corvin, Tyler Corvin, Louis Costello, Bob Davis, Yehuda Ben Leah, V'chaim, John Gaudier, Joy Gross, Ron Hall, Anna Hernandez, Joe Horowitz, Darren Jacobs, Judy Jacobs, Jacob Kerr, Seth Kerr, Andrea Klein, Mary Jane Klein, Lou Klein, Paula Markovitz, Reverend Michelle Meach, Joe Michaels, Moshe Yosef, Howard Pellet, Stephanie Payusko, Carla Friedman, Ellie Eidelwitz, Tony Rosenstein, Robin Stone, Ellen Vogeloff, George Wells, Celeste Jaron, Aaron Jacob and Zachary Whittam, Ben Wilder, Phyllis Woolfield, Gretchen Zimmerman. Continued healing for Tadal Belli, Tammy Anderson, Bonnie Amantro, Jan Bennett, Joe Cowley, Michael Corvin, Terrence DeMicho, Steve Fine, Cheryl Fitzsimmons, Barbara Gallagher, Francine Glasser, Mark Greenberg, Marcia Hamburg, Valerie Henderson, George Jones, Danny Joseph, Anita Cantor, Heather Kiteja, Levi Corley, Charlie Littman, Nomi Laurie, David Mallon, Joan Moore, Ann Murkoff, Catherine Nicholson, Navan Newsy, Orly Batsvia, Vachaya, Steve Perlmutter, Antoinette Phelan, Lillian Rich Schuster, Dave Rosenthal, Evie Rosenthal, Carl Rothgeb, Barbara Salberg, Henry Sanderson, Shirley Schneider, Deborah Sears, Phil Searles, Sloan Shortley, Michelle Simon, Charles Slutsky, Elaine Trott, Mark Trott, Sandy Weiner, Karen Wilder, Luca Williams, the Livingston House staff and residents. Mi sheberach avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu, mikor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. $594. Why should I wish to see the source better on this day? I see something of the source in every hour of the 24, and each moment then. In the faces of all people, I see HaShekhinah, and in my own face in the glass, I find letters from HaShekhinah dropped in the street, and everyone is signed by the source's name. And I leave them where they are, for I know that wheresoe'er I go, others will punctually come forever and ever. We are with members of our congregation who are observing their Shana, their year of grief. With members of our congregation who are observing their Shloshim. For those recent losses, know that we are with you. And for the art sites of loved ones who are being observed in this season, loved ones who died in years past. Rachel Adler, Morton Alter, remembered by Susan Alter Sultano. Ruby Appel, Milton Blancher, remembered by Lori Blancher. Sadie Bloom, Selma Braun, Frank B. Cohen, remembered by Joe Cohen. Betsy Connolly, remembered by Barbara Connolly. Rabbi Jonathan Eichorn, remembered by Suzanne Eichorn and our entire congregation. Belle Goldfarb, remembered by Ned Goldfarb. Francis Jacobs, Irene Kaplan. Harriet Ann Kelly, remembered by Ruth Heisman. Stephen Mittenberg, remembered by Robert Mittenberg. Murray Perlman, Francis Ritchie, Charles Rufberg, Florence Saunders, remembered by Gail Saunders. Rosalind Shapira, Joseph Schlaffenberg. Mary Turkenich, remembered by Ron and Phyllis Woolfield. Barbara Weiss, remembered by Sherry Kiesler Weiss. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah. Be'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute. V'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'olam ulalmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal. Shmei dekudesha barich hu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiram be'alma ve'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol b'nei Adam. Ve'imru. Amen. Page 648. Open for me your gates of righteousness. Pitru li sharei tzedek avovam hodeya. 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 Shabbat Shalom. I look forward to sharing tomorrow morning's service with you at 10 a.m.